should have first unscrewed this before screwing this.
Sit in it, it doesn't refocus.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
It's fine if it does.
Okay.
It's whatever.
So,
I was telling Tenda how up in like last year and the beginning of this year was such a shitty year. I was literally dead inside. I was actually dead inside, and I needed something big, like a really big experience, something that I wanted to happen. And when I went to Mombasa, that was a turning point. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but that was such a big turning point. I think it sounds dramatic, but I did, like, a lot changed. Even if it was just like a week, a lot changed. I learned a shit ton about myself, how I like to interact with people, the type of things I like in people.
yeah.
And yeah, I had so many good conversations. So those days I would literally stay up until like 10 a.m. just talking to people.
I feel like that's also something that's like always good about being in like closed environments a lot of the time. Like, not closed, but it's like, because that's not a closed environment, but more so when you're with like a group of people, because it's like almost like those school trips, where everyone just ends up opening up, like, and it just happens so organically as well that it just, you know.
And then when I came back, I found that, like, because even before I was struggling a lot with like eloquence and delivering like what I want to say, and like usually what I was thinking I wasn't able to say so freely. And now I can literally, just like the way I string sentences and the way I'm able to understand things and talk to people, it's wild.
Do you think you understand things more within yourself as well, that you're able to articulate it a lot more?
Yes. Because for a while I was definitely lost. I didn't, like, my thoughts didn't match my words, didn't match my actions, they didn't match like the way I just presented in general. And I think I just definitely needed some kind of awakening.
For a second I thought this is like a red table.
Like something needed to happen.
So what do you think happened?
For the longest time, like the second year of COVID and the whole beginning of this year, things were just going wrong for me. Everything was going wrong. And this trip, like this coast trip, was something I really, really wanted to happen for myself. And like, I went through the whole year thinking that it wouldn't even happen, because things had just constantly been going wrong, you know, just this perpetual cycle, just going wrong. And then when it did happen, I was like, oh, I was like, okay, so maybe things like life has a way of like sorting itself out. So I think that's like that was a time like I was like definitely truly happy, because I didn't even think I knew how to experience happiness anymore without faking it. What were you saying about how you haven't had a good conversation in a while? What consists of a good conversation?
Not even like a good conversation, because I think I have good conversations with my friends all the time, but like it's like good and funny, but I just mean in terms of fruitfulness. Because I feel like I was always having these sorts of conversations with my friends at school, and I feel like here it's like I'm so happy, right? I just feel like this is something I was thinking about recently, where I was like, am I happy? Because a lot of people ask me, do I like it more there or do I like it more here? And it, like, I was literally stuck. And like, first when I came back, I thought I was genuinely more happy there. Because it was before all my friends were back, and I just felt so disconnected from everything and everyone. But once everyone like I knew started coming back, I was like, oh wait, I'm actually really happy. And then it made me actually question the happiness that I had when I was at school, because I was like, was I genuinely happy, or was I making myself enjoy the least ideal situation, you know? But then like after thinking about it more, I was like, I can't invalidate that happiness. And it, like, my happiness here is different from my happiness there, but it doesn't mean that I wasn't happy. I just feel like they're two different experiences that bring out two different kinds of joys in me. So I think I just came to like realize that. But what was like the first question though? Oh yeah, so as I was saying, like at school more so, just because I think everyone's going through this like dramatic point in their life. Not a dramatic point, but it's something that's like a turning point. It's your first way. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a very transitional phase in your life. So it's like, I feel like more often than not, I found myself having these conversations with my closest friends about like the way we were feeling about school, the way we were feeling about ourselves, the way we were feeling about our growth.
Yeah.
And there was like a lot of reflection between us, which I really enjoyed. I think for a long time though, I was so scared of introspection, just like thinking about the way I genuinely feel. For me, like it was just something I constantly ignored until I actually wasn't okay.
Yeah.
And then also like working on certain things, like certain defense mechanisms that I had up, because for me at the end of the day it was like, I mean, it's worked this long for me, that means it's okay.
Yes, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like one of the first steps that I had to like introspection was I read, my friend told me about this, they asked me what my attachment style is. Okay. And I was like, what's that? And I started reading, and like I started reading about attachment styles, like the secure, anxious avoidant, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, and then like that's like the first step to introspection that I had, because it's where I fully realized the impact that my upbringing and the way my parents treated me had like an influence on the relationships that I had with people, in terms of the way I opened up, in terms of the way I pulled away as well. And it was like deciding to try work towards a more secure attachment style, like for me was the first step of like introspection that I've ever had. Because I think in my friendships as well, I always had this lingering fear of like, I felt like I loved my friends so much, because to me, like my friends always felt like siblings. And I felt like all my friends have siblings already, and they have those relationships that are constant, and I felt like I love these people so much that we're gonna grow apart and I'll be hurt, you know, that like kind of mindset. And so then I realized, wait, that's not normal, like I shouldn't be thinking like that. And then it's like I started working towards that. I feel like that this was like in 2019, and that's like one of like the first steps of like introspection that I ever had. And when I started doing that, it became something that was like so fruitful to me, and something I really enjoyed, like reflecting on myself, working on myself, talking about this type of stuff, where before I saw it as being vulnerable, whereas now I just see us like talking and just sharing experiences. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm so vulnerable right now, you know.
Speaking of vulnerability, for me, I talk about vulnerability a lot. Like only recently, actually, I talk about it a lot. But I think it's not something that I don't know how to word it.
You don't think you actually practice it?
I don't think I practice it. And I think the ways in which I try to practice it are not the best. The thing is with me, I don't even know where to start, because it's such a strange dichotomy. I'm someone who likes talking openly about these things, but to actually exercise them myself, you can't catch me. It's the thing. I know it's what you mean.
It is hard.
It's so hard, and I keep saying it's so endless, because I keep saying it's hard, and I'm like, I need to do this if I want to be better, do better. But for me, I just don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. It's just.
But what would you define as being vulnerable for yourself?
As being vulnerable?
Yeah.
I'll quote my college essay.
Okay.
I'll quote my college essay. What did I say? Being naked. And not even in like a way where it's like a metaphor. It's like not actually
I know what you mean. You're a poetic girl.
What a girl.
I wasn't
up like this baby's nude. Naked. And not even in the way where like I show you everything completely, but just in a way like, you know how humans are born. Humans were born naked. Yeah. And that's them in like their most raw, authentic form. Yeah. And I think that's what I would describe as being vulnerable.
You in your most
authentic form. And not necessarily to like each and everyone, but especially to the people I love. I want to be able to be open in that way, and like to show you who I am in my most raw and authentic form.
And do you think more often than not you're not showing that?
I think I am, but I just keep like it's just always a back and forth in my head. I think I just need to sort so much shit out with myself first before I can be with other people. But then again, I don't know how long that will take. Yeah, and I feel like that keeps me from being with people in the depths that I want to be.
Okay, that's valid.
You know?
That's valid.
Yeah. But I think like at the end of the day, it still doesn't hinder me from forming connections. Because I form connections, and I told you how I'm like really selective. I form connections with people that I know. Like I don't know how, but I just know.
No, I know what you mean because I'm exactly the same way.
The same,
yeah.